Okay, next question number 2. It's about Raf Confectionaries. It's an Indonesian global manufacturer of confectionery. One of their major products is Chocofla, a daily cocoa extract supplement. The demand for Chocofla follows an up and down pattern over the 4 quarters of a year, with peaks in the second and fourth quarter when special promotions are held. Production is handled by a highly skilled local workforce during a regular 40-hour week. And in this case, overtime and subcontracting are not used. And the company likes to zero out its inventory at the end of a year so that it can start fresh each January. RAF currently uses a level production strategy at average forecast demand, but would like to evaluate other options. So we have to create a production plan and calculate the cost of the plan for each strategy listed below. And which plan would you recommend to RAF and why? So the other strategies is level production, chase, and mix strategy, but currently we are using level production strategy. And then these are the info given about the demand forecast for each quarter, and then beginning workforce, wiring costs, and so on and so on. Okay, so we write down the data given first. Okay, this is about the demand, and then it said that the regular time is 40 hours per week, and then for the ending inventory is set to be 0, and for the beginning workforce we have 40 workers. For firing costs it's $600 per worker, and then for production per employee, it's the production level per employee, it's 1,250 units per quarter. And then for carrying costs it's $1 per unit per quarter, and then for hiring costs is $500, and last one is the regular production cost, it's $10 per unit. Okay, so we have to calculate each cost for level production, chase demand, and mix strategies. First we have to calculate the level production first. So basically level production is we're producing for all the quarters with the same rate of production, and to make it easier we have to determine it first. For average demand we have 92,500. We get it by sum all of the demand. Okay, so total of the demand of all quarters, and it's divided by the number of quarter. Okay, we have 4 quarters, so this number divided by 4, and we get this number. Okay, and then for current production level we're currently producing 50,000 units. Okay, we get it by multiplying the beginning workforce that we have. Okay, currently we have 40 workforce. Okay, we have 40 workers, and then each worker could produce 1,250 units. So we just have to multiply this number with this number, and we get 50,000. And then this is currently that we have, but actually we have to produce this much. Okay, so it's like we have to add more units, right? Or we need more workers, but we would count it in unit. So additional units needed is the difference between average demand with current production level. So we lack of 42,500 units. Okay, since it's level production, so the production for all the quarters is the same. It's 92,500. Okay, and then there's a difference here in quarter one. The demand is 70,000 units, while the production is 92,500 units. While currently we only have 50,000 units. Okay, we only could produce this much, so we have more 42,500 units by hiring new workers to produce this number. So we're gonna hiring as much as this one. Okay, so we are currently have 50,000, and then we're hiring 42,500 units, so we could produce 92,500 units, while the demand is only 70,000. So there is units left, right, after we produce it, because we produce this much while the demand is only 70,000, and the units left going to our inventory. So the inventory is the difference between the production and the demand. So the difference is 22,500. Okay, this one minus this one. Next, to the second quarter, the demand is 100,000 units, while we only produce 92,500 units. So there is shortage, right? And to cover the units left, we're lacking of 7,500 units, right? And we could cover it by using the inventory that we have from the previous quarter. So we're gonna use this production plus the units left, the lacking units, we're gonna cover it with this inventory units as much as 7,500 units. So the inventory, the amount of inventory is reduced, right? So we only have 15,000 units of inventory, because we use the 7,500 units to cover the demand for second quarter, and we don't need to hire more units or worker to produce more, because we only hire at the first or at the beginning, and it's enough. And then move to the third quarter, the demand is 50,000, while we produce 92,500 units. So there's excess, right? So the excess going to the inventory. The difference between the production and the demand is 42,500 units, right? And then we add with the previous inventory, so we could get the amount of current inventory is 57,500 units. Okay, so we get this number by reducing this one and then add with this one, and we don't have to hire any units or workers anymore. And then for the last fourth quarter, the demand is 150,000 units, while the production is only 92,500 units. So we are lacking of units, right? And to cover the rest of it, we could use the inventory that we have from previous quarters. So actually we have to add 57 and 500 units more, right? And it's equal to our current inventory from previous quarter. So the inventory went 0 because we use all of them and adding it to the production to fulfill the demand for quarter 4. And then after that we sum all of the column here for the production, inventory, and hiring. Okay, and after that we calculate for the total cost. For the total cost, we get it by adding the production cost and then the inventory cost or carrying cost and with the hiring cost. Okay, first for the production cost, we get it by multiplying the total of production with the cost of production. Okay, so the regular production cost is $10 per unit, and then we multiplied it by this number. And then for the carrying cost or the inventory cost, we get it by multiplying the total of inventory with the inventory cost per unit or carrying cost. So per unit it's $1 per unit. And then last one, hiring cost, we get it by multiplying this number with the hiring cost. It's 500 per worker actually, but here it's still in units. So we have to divide this number with the production level per worker, which is 1,250 units. So the total of units we have to hire divided by the production level per workforce or per workers, and then we get the total of workforce or worker that we have to add, and then we multiplied it by with the hiring cost per worker, and then we get it 17,000. After that we sum all of them. So this is the total cost for using the level production strategy. And then next to the second strategy, which is chess demand production. The difference between level strategy is the production using the chess strategy is it sets the production is set equal to the forecast demand. So here the production for quarter 1 is equals to 70,000, this one is 100,000, and so on and so on. Okay, because the production following the demand. And then if we're using chess strategy, we have to varying the workforce level, okay, because it depends on the production level and it's depend on the demand. So first here we are currently have 50,000 units. Okay, our production level is 50,000 units, while for quarter 1 we have to produce as much as 70,000 units. So we are lacking of 20,000 units, right? If we are lacking of units or worker, we have to hire more, right? And we hire as much as the difference between how much we should have and how much we have currently. And so it's 20,000, the difference between 70,000 and 50,000, okay. And then for the second quarter, the demand is 100,000 units, and so is the production. While from the quarter one, we only have the level production as much as 70,000. So we are lacking of units, okay, lacking of level production. So we have to hire more units by as much as the difference between the demand or production at quarter two and quarter one. And the difference is 30,000. And then at the third quarter, the demand is 50,000. And it's the demand is decreasing, okay, from the previous quarter. So since it's decreasing, we have to reduce the level of production, right? So we have to lay off as much as the difference between the production from the previous quarter and the quarter at now, which is 3. So the difference is 50,000. So we have to lay off 50,000 units. And then last one for quarter 4 is the demand is increasing from the previous quarter. So we have to add more level production or units by hiring it, and as much as the difference between them. And the difference is 1,000 units. 100,000 units. Okay, and then we have to sum all of them, each column, to finally calculate the total cost. For production cost, we have to multiply the total production with the production cost per unit, which is $10 per unit. Okay, and then for hiring cost, total of hiring multiplied by the hiring cost, and again it's still in units, okay, so we have to divide it by the production level per work first. So the total units we hired is 150,000 units, and then divide it with 1,250 units, and then we get the total of or number of worker that we have to add, and then we multiply it with the hiring cost. Okay, so this one divided by this one and then multiplied by this one. Sorry. And then last one, layoff cost. Total of layoff, it's still in units as well. We have to divide it with the production level per worker. So this number divided by this number and multiplied by the cost of layoff or firing cost, which is $600 per worker. Okay, we finally have all of them, and then we have to sum it, and finally we get the total cost for chess strategy. And then the third one, the last strategy, is mixed strategy. So we have to produce 70,000 units in period 1 and 100,000 units in periods 2 through 4. Okay, so the production for quarter 1 is 70,000, and then the rest of it 100,000 units. Okay, and now we start determine the hiring and inventory. So before quarter 1, we have 50,000 units, okay, as our production level, while in quarter 1 we have to produce as much as 70,000 units. So we have to add more units, right, by hiring it as much as the difference, which is 20,000. And then we have no inventory since we are producing the production as equals to the demand. so there's no inventory. And then for the second quarter, we have demand as much as 100,000 units, and so is the production. So we have to hire here, right? Because from quarter one, we only our production level is only 70,000 units, while the next quarter, which is at the second quarter, we have to produce as much as 100,000 units. So we have to add more units as much as the difference between them, which is 30,000 units. And then there's no inventory as well, because we produce, the production is as much as the demand. It's equals to the demand. And then for the third quarter, the demand is only 50,000 units, while we produce 100,000 units. So there's units left, right? Some units left, as much as the difference between them, which is 50,000. And it's going to be our inventory. And last one is the fourth quarter. The demand is 150,000 units, while we only produce 100,000 units. So there's shortage, right? And to add more units, we don't have to hire more units because we have inventory from the previous quarter, and it equals to the demand in quarter 4. I mean, if we're adding this number, our production added with the inventory that we have, it's enough to fulfill the demand. But if the case is the inventory couldn't cover the shortage, we have to hire more units, if that's the case. But this case, the inventory that we have could cover the shortage. So the inventory here went 0. Okay. And after that, we sum all of them for each demand, production, hiring, and inventory. After that, we calculate for the total cost. For production cost, we have to multiply the total of production with the production cost. And then for carrying cost or inventory cost, this one. So the total of inventory that we have multiplied by the cost of inventory or carrying cost. And then the last one, hiring cost. It's still in units, just like the previous one. So we have to divide it with 1,250 units. It's the production level per workforce or per worker. And then after we divide it, we have to calculate, we have to multiply it with the hiring cost per worker. Then we get 20,000. And then for the total cost, just sum all of them and we get this number. Okay, and which one we have to choose is by comparing the total cost between them. Okay, level production using level strategy is 3,800,000, while using chess is 3,700,000, while if we are using this mixed strategy is 3,770,000. So the lowest one is if we are using this strategy, right? The mixed strategy. So we choose mixed strategy as our production strategy. Okay, done for question number 2.